Alrighty, I'm gonna cover this pretty quickly, because I don't like the fact that I just shot this and it took like 10 minutes, and I just figured out in my head how to really describe this in about 3 minutes or less. So if you're having stuttering problems, like people are telling you, oh, your stream's lagging or whatever word they use, and you go and watch your playback and you see it's like looks like parts of the video feeding me, like the frames were dropped, right? You have one of two problems. Okay, this is going to be. So let's open our settings window here, go up and do a cap under the screen here. I'm going to bring a few things over here because they're crucial to what we're going to talk about. So we're going to bring this, this, and this. Okay, so here's our settings window. We're going to come to our output. I stream on Twitch. A lot of people stream on Twitch. Twitch, as you know, has a 6,000 kilobit limit, right? So maybe you're streaming at that. And your game looks fine on your screen, you're streaming along, but you don't realize that your stream is dropping frames for whatever reason or something like that. People are telling you it's lagging. A lot of times people will see the frame skippage and they don't realize, because they're not streamers, that they mistake frame droppage for lag. So if you enable your advanced encoder settings and come down here, this controls how fast your processor encodes. The faster you tell it to encode, the less quality you're going to get out of your video feed. You may be streaming in 1080p 60 FPS, but if you set this to like super fast or extremely fast, it's going to lower your video quality even though you didn't change the kilobits. The kilobits at which you stream at to Twitch or Mixer or YouTube or wherever only dictate part of your video quality or your image quality. You can bring your image quality up right here by slowing this down a little bit. Now, granted, you need to do a little bit of research and make sure that your computer's processor can obviously do this or handle this. If you're doing X264 encoding, like I am. Now, maybe you're like, oh, I don't have a good beastly processor, but I have a beastly graphics card, and it works well together, and so you can game with no problems, but encode with the NVENC encoder. Fine, do that, if that's what works for you or what you want to do. But for those of you who are looking to get some X264 encoding benefits here, mess with this encoder preset. Do some recordings, some test recordings and stuff. Even if you're on a single PC, mess with it. See how it affects, your performance metrics. Really bring this up in OBS and watch your processor usage and, because a lot of times, like, your performance metrics will tell you, hey, drop frames. This may say you're not dropping frames, but you may be getting, like, where 1 second, you may be 1 second getting where you're here, and the next minute, you're over here, but your stream didn't see the in-between, right? So you'd be here, and then, like, half second or second later, you're here, but, like, hey, what happened to this area of the video feed? It just, like, it's skipped, it's lagging. They may tell you this, right? So while you're streaming, keep this up, watch it. And if they're telling you that, but you're not seeing dropped frames, well, immediately come up and look at your processor usage, your CPU, and see how high this number is, and look at each individual core, right? And you can use this if you want, exactly what I have, and I do this on stream every day. Temp, it's a great pre-program, and this is a great free app you can find online. Even works in Windows 10, as you can tell. And so you can see here each individual core. You can see its percentage usage, and you can see its temperature. So you're like, well, and you notice, you pick up your smartphone, you tune into your own stream, and you're like, well, my processor usage is kind of high, my frames are steady. I can see it's glitching, and like frames are not getting rendered out to the stream, they're not getting put out. But I don't have any dropped frames getting listed here. This might be something to look at. Maybe you haven't adjusted this. It's on the default of very fast, which most people don't have a problem with that. And so you're streaming. Maybe your computer can't handle, on a single PC setup, streaming at 6,000 kilobit. Turn it down a little bit. Maybe turn it down to 5,000 kilobit. See what happens. If it's still not, you're going lower and lower and lower. You're down to like 3,500 kilobit now, and you're still doing it. maybe try switching your encoder from X264 to your graphics card, the NVENC encoder. See if that helps you out. Just some small troubleshooting things here. Because I'm going to tell you, now, here's where a 2 PC setup comes in handy, because you can get away with turning this up. You can stream a 6000 kilobit if you put a good processor. And this processor, it doesn't say it up here, but it's a 6850K at 4.5 gigahertz on an H100i water cooler, okay, from Corsair. And if I turn this up another click, I pretty much max out every core and set about 85% CPU usage. And sometimes, some games, I can get away with that. And it doesn't drop frames. Other games it does. So really do some research if you're a streamer. And a lot of people are like, oh, 2 PC setup, that just sounds complicated. Once you understand how they work, not really. So I'm not trying to be a caveat and say everybody should run out and get a 2 PC setup, but pay attention to these things, particularly this right here, because you can do a lot of things with this right here alone. Once you understand how it works and how much more it actually affects whatever CPU is in your computer, if you're using X264. Hope y'all learned something from this. As for now, I'm going to get out of here. Catch y'all later.